Hey, what's up guys? It's Corey here with Dapper Dellers. Today we're going to talk about whether or not these small cap companies like Aemetis, Vuzix, and Hyliion are doomed, or if we can actually see a rebound sometime in the near future. You ready? Let's get started. So this channel is all about using the online income opportunities like merch by Amazon and Etsy to build our income online and then invest this income in things like the stock market and real estate. If that sounds like something you're interested in, like and subscribe, and let's get started. So we saw at the beginning of this year the best time for small cap stocks. 2020 was the great boom for small caps, and then 2021 continued to be the all-time highs for small caps, at least in this time period. However, we saw a little bit of a departure from the companies within the NASDAQ, because the NASDAQ has, 2020 has passed us, has continued to escalate over and over again. But we've noticed recently that as the NASDAQ continues to go up, not all companies are going up equally. So let's talk about where the departure happened, what likely is going to facilitate us actually getting back together, and whether or not we need to sell out of these small caps and buy into the bigger companies. So let's get started. Now, like we said at the beginning of this year in 2021, companies that were small cap stocks like Aemetis and Vuzix were killing it. These two stocks for me hit all-time highs. I think I had 400% returns. And all the way up until the first week in April, these companies were on a massive tear. Cathie Wood was buying Vuzix. Aemetis was going up like at least 10% every day. These companies were killing it. There were a few bumps along the way, but overall, they were just continuing to climb. But this is not the same story for companies like Apple, Amazon, and Tesla. Tesla had a little bit of a boost in this time, but not anything close to what these other companies did. Now, Apple and Amazon were not exactly in the best position. They were still doing great. They're still amazing companies. However, during this time where Vuzix, Hyliion, and Aemetis were tearing it up, Apple and Amazon, which are the biggest companies within the NASDAQ, were not doing well. They were trading flat, and it was not a good time to be them. However, once the first week of April happened, that's where there began a convergence of all of these companies. So Aemetis, Vuzix, Apple, and Amazon were all at the height of their game in the first week of April. But we noticed after that that there was a continued downslide for all of these companies. There was no separation in between the small caps and the large caps. All of these companies were going down. And then May 13th, we see the bottom for these companies. And what is it that really happened on May 13th? Well, we got the inflation numbers that the inflation was the highest it had ever been since 2008. And I think a lot of this crash happened as a result of people knowing that this information was going to come out, and then the expectation of what we were going to do from there. So we see the crater basically bottom out at May 13th. And then from there, we see the NASDAQ continue to skyrocket. Now, the NASDAQ in general, we see a clear divergence here as far as what happens with the small caps and the large caps. The large caps, like Amazon and Apple, they got a little bit of an on-ramp bump and then just took off recently. The same with Tesla. Tesla had a little bit slower of an on-ramp, but has now benefited from that same boost. But we saw with Aemetis and Vuzix and a few other small caps specifically that there was not much of a boost at all. There was a little bit of a boost, a little bit of sideways, and then now we've noticed a downtrending market to basically the same place we were at May 13th. So we basically traded sideways with these small cap companies for, since May 13th. However, Apple and Amazon, the largest cap companies within the NASDAQ, have continued to take off. And that's where we see where the NASDAQ is getting most of its steam from. The NASDAQ has continued to go up. It was benefiting from these small caps at the beginning of the year in 2021. However, we now see that the NASDAQ is continuing to go up in spite of the small caps being down because the large caps are up so heavily. And that is why we see the NASDAQ continuing to go up, even though the companies that we're invested in that are small caps really are falling behind. So what do we do in this situation? Is it time to just sell all of these stocks and, just buy into Apple and ride that high again? Well, not really, because we see this all the time. This is simply a rotation of money within these stocks, and companies that are, managing portfolios like mutual funds and things like that are constantly switching their money around and choosing where to invest it in. And at times, it seems like the small cap stocks do really well in what would be considered a recession event. So in 2020, we definitely saw what would be considered a recession event. We had everything that happened there. Travel was closed down, people weren't spending money, and we saw a massive boost in the small cap market. However, since May 13th, we have seen that the 2020 situation as far as the virus that's gone around is basically fading away. People are getting back to normal, and now this is where large cap stocks generally take over in a recovering market. Now, we do know that as large cap stocks grow up, usually these small caps follow them. However, this is just not the case right now. For some reason, there's just been a large rotation of money back into these large cap stocks and banking on the large cap stocks into the future. However, we will see again the rise of the small cap stock, hopefully. But, I don't say hopefully. It's obviously going to happen. I don't put my money in these stocks, and I know you haven't put your money into these stocks that are small cap companies because you think that they're going to essentially do nothing, or we're going to have to wait for rotation every now and then. There could be information that comes out about Aemetis, Vuzix, and Hyliion that really boost these companies and propel them into the heights of success in the future. And I believe that could happen. And I also believe that these companies are going to get a boost later on. I think that it is going to be a great thing for them in the future. And I think that money is eventually going to rotate out of these larger cap stocks like Apple and Amazon once companies decide to take their profits. And then they're going to put that money back into the small cap stocks, which is going to raise those stocks as well. And then we'll see, hopefully, even higher highs from these small cap stocks. Because if you took all the money that is pushing Amazon and Apple up and you put that into small cap stocks, imagine how much more of an exponential effect that would have on those companies. So, like I said, nothing has changed about these companies. Aemetis, Vuzix, Hyliion, they're all continuing to do the same thing. They're all continuing to progress forward. Nothing has changed about these companies fundamentally. This is essentially an opportunity for you to buy if you like. And so what I would encourage you to do, the same thing that I'm going to do, but remember, everything I've said before this and everything I'm going to say after this is purely speculation. This video is just for entertainment purposes only. Before you make any decisions about your money, make sure to consult your financial advisor. I'm personally not going to be selling any of these stocks. If I have the opportunity where I can buy in at a lower price, again, Aemetis, I think I have an average cost basis of 10. Vuzix, I think maybe 12. And then Hyliion, I'm well below what I would like to be. I'm having to essentially, like every opportunity, every day is an opportunity for me to lower my cost basis for Hyliion because I bought in around 36. And I've just continued to buy the dip since then. So anyway, like I said, nothing has fundamentally changed about these companies. It is just the fact that money is rotating from large caps to small caps to large caps, and we're going to eventually get back on this road to hopefully $30 a share for all of these companies. So anyway, if you have any questions about this situation or anything that you would like to talk about, drop me a comment below. I would love to hear from you. And remember, guys, someone is going to do something amazing every day. Why not you? See ya.